Hey Stalwart Fam!
Hey!
Welcome back to our channel.
Welcome back.
My name is Faith.
My name is Michael.
And we are the Stalwart Lovers. And we have with us the amazing, the wonderful, the beautiful couple, the Dainis. So guys, if you don't know Folasade Daini,
Who do you know?
I mean, she's more of the
influencer.
She's more of the influencer, Yes, and her husband right here is a pastor in CCI, and we are so blessed to have them.
Absolutely. Okay, so you might be wondering, where are we? Like, this is not our regular apartment, right? Yes, right now we're in Byce Homes.
It's an Airbnb.
It's an Airbnb in Brampton, in Canada here. Absolutely lovely apartment. A 4-bedroom apartment with a master bedroom ensuite. Perfectly renovated. It's sweet. I don't feel like living this place.
Literally, I feel like living here.
Yes, this is the perfect
so beautiful.
getaway
Yeah, where they will chase us away.
As in, our time is almost up.
Yeah.
But this is the perfect getaway location for your family, or you have a girls' trip, or you have a group of couples retreat.
Yeah.
This is a perfect getaway location. Go on Airbnb and search Byce Homes. I'm going to leave the link in the description as well. Look for the video. Look for the apartment and book it. Absolutely recommend it.
From the airport.
Yes. It's not too far from the airport.
Reasonable distance from the airport.
Yes, and they also have an Instagram account, so please follow them on Instagram as well and all that good stuff.
Awesome. So let's get right into the video.
Yes, so we are doing a Q&A. We're doing a Q&A about finding a right partner. I mean, not everything will be on finding a right partner exactly, but that is like the theme of everything.
Okay.
So I'll just start asking questions straight away. I'll just ask these questions. These questions are, they're kind of 2-in-1 or something. So this one is, at what point in a relationship should one open up secrets to his or her life partner? And then someone asked another question, so it's kind of very similar.
Okay.
Is there any secret that is not important to share?
Who's going to start?
Who's going to start with that?
Okay, so I think I will go first. You guys labeled me the amazing person in this conversation. No. Because my husband came, I was his first girlfriend, so he didn't have a lot of secrets like that to share. But I came from, and if you watch my channel, you know that I'm very vulnerable, and I like to share my past struggles, the mistakes I made in the past. And it was such that it was immediately I noticed he had interest in me, and it was the first disclaimer I gave. And I would also I was comfortable doing that because I sensed that he was a believer, and I was a mature believer, and I wasn't going to use that against me.
You.
So that was just the first thing I said. Oh, okay, I know you had mentioned that, oh, I like you, I'd like to get to know you better. He and I had talked. I knew that he was a serious believer, and I just told him, okay, this is what I've done in the past. Oh, I've had countless boyfriends. Oh, Kinikok, I've done this, I've done that. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And I remember his comment, and he said that we are all sinners, right? And that is the degree of sin that varies, and that if God has forgiven me, who is it to hold this against me? So it's important that you say it early, but you also need to be sure that, because I've heard people, I've counseled people that came say, oh, they told their partner about their past, and every time they have an argument, guy is bringing it up. That's a major red flag already. If you're with someone like that,
just leave that relationship, please.
So gauging that and then sharing, and then when I was also telling him, I tried not to go into graphic details. Oh, this was how. He doesn't need it. He just needs to know, okay, this is where this person is coming from. They don't need to know how the person slept with you, or they don't need to.
They turned you upside down.
And that is such an amazing point, because you need to be able to be vulnerable enough. You need to be safe enough to share with your partner.
Yeah.
And it should be something that is not later on that you
now finding out close to wedding.
I feel like there are a lot of reasons why you should tell your partner. But the only thing I'll say is that, like you mentioned, at the point where you're comfortable sharing, comfortable sharing not in the sense of your comfort, because some people might never be comfortable sharing, but comfortable with the person.
And you know that you can trust
the person.
and
then the maturity level of the person to handle it matters a lot, because you don't want to keep telling everybody your life history.
How many talking stages you want to do?
And they are leaving you, and then your story is out there in the open, right? So I feel like,
I think it should be in stages. You don't just start with the biggest thing.
Exactly.
In this person. So you know how Pastor talks about you reward access, you reward closeness with access. So the closer you get to people, or the more you get to know people, you grant them access into your life, for example. The same way everybody's best friend started off as an acquaintance. You kind of, and it's not the day you met somebody that just blot out everything. So same thing too with something like this. You would start by sharing, okay, there are different degrees to this. What type of person is this person? Let me share mine on. You see how the person reacts without testing.
I think I really like that point. You see how they react.
And then once you see, you can then know if someone is already acting weird when you tell them the first. Just know that. Okay,
just know that.
Echo Walumio.
That's all.
This is my cue to take the lead.
I really love that point.
I didn't even think about that.
Like I really love that point.
I was very comfortable with him like from day one, so I just told him most of it. I trusted that he could handle it, but not everybody can do that.
Many people have taken advantage of that information, and even in the relationship, probably even mess up the person even more.
And that aspect of opening it little by little, see their reaction, give more, see their reaction.
Yes, absolutely.
That's very good. That's so wise.
Like so wise. Okay, so someone says, how young is too young to get married as a lady?
As a lady.
Well, I think I would say that it depends on your maturity. Like for me, when I'm someone that I can say I got married very young. I even started a relationship younger, and we were in a relationship for like 4 years, almost 4 years. You know, so you can imagine how young I was. I was like 18, almost 19.
When you guys started dating.
Yes, when we got into a relationship, and I was so mature, like I was able to
catch them young.
That's the way.
I was able to navigate. I knew how to handle a man. I knew what respect meant. I knew what submission meant.
Give context of how to handle a man.
You don't know how to handle a man. You know how to handle a relationship.
Yes.
Let's just be clear.
That's what I meant, guys.
It's now that you know how to handle a man.
Hey, because you were not a woman then.
Because now you are handling things.
Hey, Shomo Sumba Shembe.
Shame.
Riri has come to join the show.
I'm saying that
So I was someone that was very young. I started out young.
Don't worry about
but there was just something that that's what I would always tell people. That spiritual maturity. It really helps. I know that there's that character maturity there, but there's a spiritual maturity that comes with it. Like you're able to make decisions, you're able to trust the Holy Spirit, you're able to learn from God, and things like that. And that is, I feel like that is what you used to measure. You don't really measure by the age.
So to answer your question, I would say mature o'clock.
More like not
mature
age
years old.
I think there was even something that Pastor said that the way he intends to raise his children is such that if Edima comes at 18 and says she wants to get married, that he would be able to trust that decision and allow her get married.
Because of the track record.
And the training, decision making. So it's really not an age thing. Because you can be 30 and not be ready. You can be 40 and not be ready.
And the problem with putting an age limit to when it's too young or too old is people start thinking that it's getting late for me.
And
it's never late because you have to be patient.
Time.
You have to be patient to make the right choice.
I mean, what if you are young? Now we are saying young, but what if you are old? What if you are 30 plus? What if you are 47? I mean, that's when you now start to get so pressured that my age. The age shouldn't be such a big thing. Pastor, do you have something
I think it
to add?
should be more like, what are you trying to build? For example, if you are going to use construction, for example, if you're trying to build a skyscraper, like you spend a lot of time in the foundation versus someone who is trying to build maybe a bungalow. Person building a bungalow could be done, like person will finish foundation maybe in a couple of days, move on to, they're already roofing. The person building a skyscraper is going to be digging, building, pouring in concrete, a lot of things. So I think it's the same thing too with relationships to some extent, where sometimes people spend 10 years dating, and then after getting married, after 1 year, like unfortunately it breaks up. Some other people meet, date 10 months, they get married, and the marriage lasts a lifetime. And you're looking at it like, what's the difference? Like both, this one spends more time. So if you are gauging it that time should be what you use as a measure,
as a yardstick.
I think as a yardstick, I think you'll be wrong. So I'm mentioning that in the context of relationship, but it also applies to before you get into the relationship.
Okay.
So with all these things, it applies to what are you building? Like, are you building within that time? That you're waiting? Are you developing yourself? Or you're just cruising?
Are you flexing and dining?
Or are you just cruising, waiting for the person to come? But we all know that, like, we've learned how the time of singlehood is the time to develop yourself, like grow, prepare yourself, such that, and many people, like, once you prepared yourself, when you meet the right person, more often than not, from what I've observed, like, you are ready intellectually. You're not going through some wilderness seasons of learning how not to, like children of Israel doing 40 years in the desert for a journey that was like 9 days. That kind of thing.
Okay, so I'll just ask this question: what should I do if a guy who is just a friend gives so much attention to me more than his girlfriend?
Mike should just undo it.
Mika, no. I want you guys to talk about that. So a guy that's not your
boyfriend. Yeah, but
he's giving you more attention.
Guy who has a girlfriend, but is giving you more attention than his girlfriend.
What should you do?
Like, what should you do?
Is that a question?
I'm tempted to be too direct. That's
I think you should just answer it because it's your thing. Yeah.
Number one, give him word. Oga, stay away from me. Focus on your
unless you're enjoying the attention too.
Yeah.
And maybe you're enjoying it, it's wrong.
It's too wrong.
You are tearing someone else's relationship apart, and that's how they will tear your own apart.
The truth is that if he even dates that guy, if he didn't respect his commitment to the lady, he won't respect his commitment to you too.
I also think there are different. Like, you kind of need more. I think this question needs more context.
Yeah.
Like, is the guy showing more attention simply because he's not interested in his own relationship, or he just doesn't know? Okay. Like, he doesn't realize it, and he's just.
This is why I said
you kind of need to wait.
You need to talk to him. Please, I think you are giving me too much attention than is due, and I think you should focus on your girlfriend. The same way, if a married person is unnecessarily showing you attention, call them together. Like, sir, where is your wife?
And I want to add something to that. Even if the guy is okay, as if maybe he's having more leading towards you, maybe God is changing his mind, or let's even say there's a leading. Then you have to break up and start an actual relationship.
Yes, you cannot be in a relationship and you're in talking stage.
You cannot sandwich.
You cannot
Exactly.
You cannot be in a relationship and be in talking stage with someone else.
Yeah.
If you have judged your relationship as not worthy of moving forward, break it up.
And don't jump into another one immediately. Take
your time
or something.
So you know why you're making your decision.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
What to do if there are many men proposing marriage to you?
Love it. Marriage, not even relationship.
I know how God speaks, but just nervous. So that was the person said. I know how God speaks, but I'm just nervous.
Now that clause that she added has already changed some direction. Let me hear from you guys.
I didn't understand. What direction?
So that means she's a Christian, right?
Oh, okay,
and she's discerning.
Okay,
but
she just has a lot of
confusing.
You must be very fine.
I would like to know who this person is.
Literally, right? I mean, that's be
many men proposing marriage.
That's a lot.
Marriage.
Not relationship.
They have seen you where you are a marriage material, wife material.
And then you're not even confused.
They are skipping talking stage.
They are skipping it.
Or maybe they didn't skip. Maybe she had multiple talking stages.
Maybe talking stage. Yeah, she's double talking. In the stage, like there's double
and there's problem, but it's okay. Do you want to address it? It seems like something on the
address
wisdom.
what?
The wisdom. Do you want to answer it? The wisdom have passed my own level.
It's you that was now talk for what you just said. Oh yeah, out of the abundance of your wisdom, share.
What do I think about that? Having so many options, I think.
Yeah, and actually being confused or nervous.
Yeah, it's a good time to deplug from all of them and just focus on God, and so that you can hear Him clearly and make sure that that you're judging how you're judging them. So, for example, you want to pick between two things. You also need to make sure that your criteria, is calibrated, to the criteria of heaven. Okay, so what
so guys, we have a new guest on our.
Welcome, Rere.
On our show. Welcome, Rere.
Alright, so you were saying something very important.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. So I was just saying that it's important to make sure, like, calibrate whatever. So when you are scoring somebody, make sure that you're scoring them according to like the standards of heaven in that sense, and according to what you know that God has called you to do.
And there's this thing you usually mention about, remember when you're choosing a spouse, you're choosing a spouse for yourself, also what's name for your children,
parents for your children.
Wow. I think that's just important.
So that's be part of your metrics.
Like for taking a cue from what you said. Number one, if you're that lady, you need to take time off from these people. Like, if possible, quit communication so that you are able to discern God's will clearly. I like what you said. You said that you know how God speaks to you, but you are just nervous. It means that how God speaks to you has been intermingled by your emotions. So you need to be still.
That's where that fear is coming from.
Yes, you need to be still in your emotions so that you can hear God clearly.
Awesome. Okay, so I'll just take the last question. This one says, after going through a breakup with someone you loved, how do you know when you have let go completely and are ready for a new relationship?
Let me take the child from you.
Yeah, because this one is your domain.
It's your specialty.
As for baby, we have not broken up before. Why?
So let me give you guys context to this insult that they're insulting. So amongst everyone here, I'm the only one who has had exes. All of them dated the first people that they.
I'm nobody's ex.
Well, I can't say that, but it's still okay.
It's still okay.
Okay. Yes, I was just going to say that. How do you know when you're ready? And like, when I would say ideally the appropriate thing is like to take time off. I remember, so there is this like post on my IG, and I might share the link with you. I call it the positive breakup story, where like I just broken up with someone I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with, but it was my service year, so I just said, God, this year I'm just going to give this year to serving you. I'm just going to not think about a man, right? I'm just going to. So instead of focusing on how do I know when I'm ready, take your mind off. By doing that, you're still thinking about like a relationship. Just take your mind off and pour yourself into whatever season that God has called you to. That way your eye is not on the clock. It's like fasting and looking at the time. When is it okay to eat? You are really not committed to that process. What you want to do is that you want to make sure that, okay, what caused this breakup in the first place? Did I choose the wrong person, or was it a successful breakup that, or they dated and they found out that they were not supposed to be together? So use that period instead of putting your eye on the clock and say, oh, when is it going to be time to date someone else? Don't do that. Invest in yourself, your relationship with God, and by the time the person will now show up safe, because you are not looking, it will be just be.
And you will now be ready. So you learn from your failed relationships how you can be better. Not all failed relationships are your fault. But there's always something that you can take from it.
I wanted to say something to that. So in the past, before I met my husband, I used to date a particular type of, and that was why I have so many exes. I used to date guys who, they were fine, they were religious, but they were not, character wasn't changed. And my spiritual father just had to tell me that, do you realize that I don't have an issue with these guys? You are the common denominator here. You are the one constantly choosing this type of guy, so that you are the one that there is something is wrong with you, because but some of them might not even know each other. Do you understand? But you are the one constantly making. So what is wrong with you? And until that year, when that breakup happened, when I just sat with God and then recalibrated, I remember was 2020 or 2021 where I wrote the type of things I wanted in a godly spouse. It was January 23rd, 2021 or 2020.
And that was
2019. Yeah, and that was the year I met my husband.
Wow.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, thank you so much for coming. We absolutely had fun.
And Riri has been such a
darling.
Say hello.
Alright guys, so if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you give it a like, make sure you comment, make sure you go to Folasade Daini's YouTube channel, please. Instagram, and just follow her. I think you're also on Twitter. Follow her as well. TikTok. I mean all the socials literally. Just follow her everywhere, and also Pastor T is also on Instagram as well. You can follow him. He's not much of the influencer, but I mean you never can tell. Alright guys, so
don't forget to check out
Byce Homes.
Yes.
So we filmed this video in Byce Homes. You can see that this is beautiful, and you've seen the preview already.
Amazing
Make sure you check it out on Airbnb. All right.
All right. So till we come here again,
keep loving
and keep believing.
We are the Stalwart Lovers.
Wow! And like I had someone else I was talking to, but by the time I weighed the type of ministry I was called to, I knew that, this is the person that I should be with.
Why did you do that?
Just ignore, Michael.
It's noise. It will.
Okay.
There's a stamp on the floor for me. All right. So by the time you weigh the time,
This is a perfect
It's not. It's just grace. People that have kids, it's grace that you people have, and I receive it in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Because Kai, you are trying.
Touch.
Ah, you give us more grace.